Hello and welcome back. I hope you have scored full in the previous quiz. Now in this chapter, we will build a simple smart contract to store a number on VChain and read it back. Interesting, right? We will be developing a storage smart contract using the Solidity language in Remix IDE. We will see how to use Remix to build and compile our smart contract. So this is the Remix IDE interface. It's an online development environment for writing, testing and deploying smart contracts using Solidity language. Currently we cannot deploy smart contracts using Remix on VChain, but we will use it to build and test the smart contract. So here in the files section, you can create or upload your smart contract files. You can create new files, import existing files, or clone files from GitHub. In this section, you can compile your smart contract code. You can compile your code by clicking the compile button, and any errors or warnings will be displayed in the compilation details section. Also, you can select which Solidity compiler you want to use. This section is used to deploy the smart contract, and we are not going to use it. So let's create a storage.sol file and start writing our first smart contract. First of all, let's declare license to the smart contract. Though this is not mandatory, but it's good practice to define a license. Then we have to specify the Solidity version we are using. This can be done using pragma keyword. Pragma Solidity and then version. We can specify range of version also. Then the contract itself. Let's name this as a storage contract. Then let's declare an integer where we are going to store the number. Integers in Solidity can be defined in two types, int and uint. Int is simply an integer which can have negative, 0 or positive values, but uint is unsigned integer which can only be 0 or positive. So let's declare the int here and name it as a my number. The variables that are defined in the smart contracts are private by default. Private means they cannot be accessed outside the smart contract. You can read about variables and functions visibilities in the Solidity from the link given in the footnotes. Now let's declare the store function which takes one argument of type int and the name is _a. This function will be public since we are going to access it in order to store the variable. Then inside the function, let's assign the value to the my number. Once this is done, let's declare another function read. It will be public, view and returns the int. Here view is added additionally because we are just reading the variable on the blockchain and not changing anything. And returns tells what type of variable we are going to return. You can make multiple arguments of multiple types like string, boolean, etc. Like int, also return multiple variable types. Now in this function, let's return the my number variable. Now we have built our smart contract. Let's compile the smart contract and check if we have written anything wrong. If the compilation is successful, it will generate something called ABI. ABI stands for Application Binary Interface. It is a contract interface in the form of JSON file that defines the input and output parameters of a contract. Let's check how it looks like. Let's copy this and paste it in the text editor. As you can see, this ABI contains information about the contract's function, their inputs and outputs. Later, we will use the ABI to create a user interface or to write scripts that interact with the contract. Now let's deploy this smart contract here. Mind that this smart contract is not going to deploy on VChain. We will use the environment provided by the Remix for testing. So click on the deploy button. And here you can see we have got an interface to interact with the contract. Let's save the number 20 using store function. Once done, Let's check if it's stored correctly using read function. Click on the read and you can see we have got the 20 output. That means that our smart contract is working perfectly. Now I assume you have learned how to build a storage smart contract here. So in the next assignment, let's check how much you can build from your learnings. Solve the assignment by submitting the storage smart contract, and then we will see how to set up a VChain wallet and deploy it on VChain. See you in the next chapter.